Unajua nini mama? Niko karibu kwenda shule. Na sitaki kuwa na stress kukuhusu.
Christy.
When Angela and Christy meet at the university, their bond somehow clicks.
Dad is somewhere up there in the sky on his way to China. I'll never forget when he took us to Singapore. Wow, it was fun.
Followed by a friendship that would defy their parallel backgrounds.
Since umezoea shower. Good luck inside there.
How is this door shut?
Kuma bezi nuko mshoishikilie mlango kwa frame.
This new territory presents all manner of pasts as influence, temptation, family histories, and peer pressure set in. The rest of their lives become a story of love, survival.
Wait.
Please mom, kubali tu story tumalizane twende home.
Influence, backstabbing, jealousy, and revenge.
Niambia tu kule stage muonekana na minji fulani mkikama hapa mtaani.
You decided to sneak from the hostel and go to Ray's studio without consulting me or Tiff.
Join us on Tempted the Campus Diaries as we explore this hilarious never-seen-before drama.
Hebu nilipe pesa zangu wewe.
With a touch to behold. A story of temptation.
KBC, in collaboration with the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development, is broadcasting enhanced out-of-class learning on radio, television, and online. Catch the lessons every weekday on KBC Channel 1 from 2 to 4 p.m, on KBC English Service and 15 FM from 9:15 a.m. to 5 p.m, and Radio Taifa from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. KBC English Service, Radio Taifa, and 15 FM are also available countrywide on the free-to-air Signet digital TV platform, or log on to www.kbc.co.ke for live streaming, or download the KBC Online app on Google Play Store. Kenya Broadcasting Corporation, ensuring learning no matter what.
Tonight on KBC Channel 1.
Only thing I want is to get out of here alive.
Too late.
Emilio, help me! Help me! Gonzalo took Diego.
Where's that phone? Give it to me. Give it to me now.
Let go of me!
The coronavirus is leaving a trail of destruction wherever it is, and especially right here in the country, to the point that the Health Cabinet Secretary is calling for an urgent meeting tomorrow. And for soccer fans, I have some disheartening news. It is the 72nd minute. Comoros versus Kenya. Comoros have 2 goals. Kenya has 1. This is the 72nd minute, as a matter of fact. I have this and much more. Good evening and welcome to Channel 1 Weekend. My name is Njue. I'm holding brief for my colleague Purity Museo, and Byron Abuli is on standby to be our sign language interpreter for this evening. But first things first, let's have a look at the highlights. Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe convenes an urgent meeting of the National Emergency Response Committee for Coronavirus after the country's caseload hit the 70,000 mark.
And our lives as doctors will not be sacrificed in this manner. Doctors will not engage in a suicide mission in the war against COVID-19 in Kenya.
Ours is to call for the government and the president to prioritize the issues of life for Kenyan and the healthcare workers.
Health professionals in the country appeal for president's intervention, warning of an impending collapse of the sector in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. And former Prime Minister Raila Odinga alludes to mischief as the push for a Building Bridges initiative referendum gains momentum. Remember, we are live from our KBC app. We're also live on YouTube, Facebook, and also on Twitter. Kindly, where are you watching us from? Your comment and suggestions are more than welcome, and I'll be delighted to sample some during and after this live newscast. Okay, straight to the news. Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe has convened an urgent meeting of the National Emergency Response Committee for Coronavirus on Monday as Kenya recorded another 972 new confirmed cases with 20 deaths in 24 hours. Kagwe describing the last 7 days as the worst since the pandemic struck the country, mainly to the medical fraternity that has lost 4 doctors on Saturday.
The meeting, according to the statement signed by the Health Cabinet Secretary, will review, among other issues, the rise in positive cases on COVID-19 and the current containment measures. It will also take stock of the challenges facing the medical fraternity. There has been lamenting neglect, including the supply of personal protective equipment and other enabling measures to curtail the war against the pandemic. The meeting comes on a rather sad week for Kenya, with the country recording 20 more COVID-19 related deaths, taking the nation's death toll from coronavirus to 1,269. In the same period, 972 new cases were confirmed in the country from 6,648 samples tested. Cumulatively, the country has confirmed 70,245 cases since the pandemic struck the country in March this year. From the new cases, 929 are Kenyans, while 43 are foreigners, out of which 583 are males, while 389 are females, with the youngest being a 5-year-old. From the new cases, Nairobi tops with 378 cases, followed by Kilifi, Mombasa, and Kiambu at 139, 115, and 70, respectively. Machakos wraps up the top 5 with 42 positive cases. 352 patients were given a clean bill of health and discharged, 253 from the home-based care program, while 99 were released from various hospitals, bringing the total number of recoveries to 45,766. Currently, there are 1,229 patients admitted to various health facilities nationally, while 5,572 are on home-based isolation and care. 59 patients are in the intensive care unit, 26 of whom are on the ventilator support, and another 30 are on supplemental oxygen. Irene Mchuma Udim, Channel 1.
And still on the health situation in the country, health professionals in the country are making a passionate appeal to the President Uhuru Kenyatta to listen to their grievances and salvage the sector from total collapse in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. Through the Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentist Union and the Kenya Union of Clinical Officers, the medical practitioners say they have been neglected even as they remain on the forefront fighting the novel coronavirus. And as Kamche Menza reports, thousands of health workers have been infected with coronavirus, with at least 30 losing the battle, including 10 specialist doctors. The two unions are now warning they will mobilize their members nationwide to down tools in the next few weeks if their plight is not addressed.
The rising numbers of COVID-19 fatalities and infections among the medical fraternity in the country has now led healthcare workers to call for urgent intervention from the head of state.
There is some disjointed management of this thing, and especially on the welfare of the healthcare workers, and we believe it's only by being able to sit with him directly that we can actually be able to do this.
We appeal to you to look into this matter because it is our lives. And our lives as doctors will not be sacrificed in this manner. Doctors will not engage in a suicide mission in the war against COVID-19 in Kenya.
Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Union and Kenya Union of Clinical Officers have a raft of demands they want met, including provision of a comprehensive health cover, provision of quality personal protective gears, dedicated medical facilities for health workers, exemption of vulnerable groups from working in the dangerous environment occasioned by the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as entrenchment of the Health Service Commission in the final Building Bridges Initiative report. So far, the health sector has lost 30 healthcare workers to COVID-19 with over 2,000 infections, a scenario which they say could have been avoided had the government created a conducive environment for the frontline workers.
The government promised that it will ensure that it incur costs of medication for all the healthcare workers, but they have actually gone back and they recall that statement.
Just listen to this situation. You are in a facility, you don't have the right PPE. When you fall ill with COVID, you are told you don't have any cover. And even when you die, we actually have to even contribute to even get the bodies to go and bury.
For us to contribute money for treatment of doctors who have been admitted in various health facilities is very absurd and a very sorry situation for this country.
The officials at the same time accuse the political class of interfering with the advancement of the health sector and therefore compromising the lives of millions of Kenyans who depend on public health service. Kenya Medical Practitioners and Dentists Union has issued a 21-day strike notice that expires on December 6, 2020, while Kenya Union of Clinical Officers say it will reach a decision on the next cause if their issues are not resolved within the next 7 days. With the COVID-19 fatalities and infections rising by the day, healthcare workers are now warning that a seamless service delivery at the hospital amid the pandemic may soon be interrupted as they hint of a nationwide industrial action. Kamche Menza for Channel 1 News, Nairobi.
Thanks, Kamche, for that report. Moving on, the family of the late Matungu Member of Parliament, Justus Murunga Makoha, has dismissed reports circulating in a section of the media that the legislator succumbed to COVID-19. Family spokesperson Asman Angara says Murunga tested negative for coronavirus before he was discharged from the Aga Khan Hospital in Kisumu, where he had been treated for diabetes. President Uhuru Kenyatta has eulogized Murunga as a diligent and industrious servant of the people who dedicated his energy to improving the welfare of the residents of Matungu constituency. Murunga, who died aged 60, was a first-time member of parliament.
The body of the late Matungu Member of Parliament Justus Murunga Makoha was transferred from St. Mary's Mumias Mortuary in Kakamega to the Lee Funeral Home in Nairobi on Sunday morning. His family confirmed he died on Saturday night, 3 days after being discharged from Aga Khan Hospital in Kisumu, where he had been admitted because of hypertension and diabetes.
Ijumaa tumeshinda na yeye, jana tulizungumza na hata akapokea wageni kadha wa kadha ambao walikuja kumtakia heri njema. Na ilipofika hapo karibu saa 1:45 hivi kuitwa aende akapate chakula cha jioni, kuanza kupanda stairs, hapo ndipo nguvu zilimuishia na waliokuwa karibu naye wakajaribu kumsaidia na kumkimbiza hospitali, ndio haya mambo yakatokezea.
Family spokesperson Asma Nangara refuted claims that the legislature succumbed to COVID-19.
Tunajua COVID-19 iko, lakini alifanyiwa uchunguzi akapatikana negative, na hakuna vile hospitali kama mheshimiwa alikuwa na COVID ingemruhusu kuwe discharged akuja hapa na aendelee kutangamana na watu bila hatua yote kuchukuliwa.
We are taking necessary precautions such that we have asked our brothers and sisters who are here to see of our mheshimiwa to put on masks, to try as much as possible to keep distance.
President Uhuru Kenyatta joined the nation and other leaders in mourning the late Murunga. In his message of sympathy, President Uhuru Kenyatta eulogized Murunga as a diligent and industrious servant of the people who dedicated his energy to improving the welfare of the residents of Matungu constituency. On his part, Deputy President William Ruto described Murunga as a development-oriented titan who was not only dedicated to public service, but was a focused, hard-working and visionary leader who relentlessly advocated for the empowerment of the people. Mourning the death of a friend, former Kakamega Senator Boni Halwale said Murunga had been discharged from the Aga Khan Hospital in Kisumu last Thursday after being treated for diabetes. Murunga, who was a key ally of Deputy President William Ruto, was elected in 2017 on an Amani National Congress Party ticket.
Alikuwa amependekeza Halawa Ward, amenunua shamba eka 5, anataka kujenga medical training college ambayo iketusaidia watu wetu hapa Matungu. Kwa hivyo tumepoteza kiungo mkubwa na tujui tutaziba hili pengo namna gani.
Until his death, Murunga was a member of National Assembly Departmental Committee on Agriculture and Livestock and Committee on Parliamentary Broadcasting and Library. Murunga is survived by a wife and 5 children. Ben Chuma, reporting for Channel 1 News.
And may the Almighty God rest his soul in eternal peace. Away from the COVID-19 pandemic to matters BBI, former Prime Minister Raila Odinga is now reading mischief in some of the criticism directed at the Building Bridges Initiative report. Speaking in Kisumu after meeting governors and leaders drawn from Nyanza and Western regions, the opposition leader said there was a pattern by crafty leaders to try and derail the constitutional amendment process through misinforming the public. He, however, said the wheels towards referendum were already in motion and challenged those opposed to the report to meet its proponents at the vote. Achola Simon with the details from the Lakeside City.
Just days after governors expressed reservations with part of the Building Bridges report and proposed a raft of changes, a section of them drawn mainly from Nyanza and western part of the country were in a closed-door meeting with the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. Also in the closed meeting was Cabinet Secretary for Interior Fred Matiang'i and Devolution CS Eugene Wamalwa. And after several hours of consultations, they came out breaking ranks with their earlier stance. The governors vowing to mobilize support for the report that continues to elicit varied political reactions across the country.
As leaders from this region, we are convinced that the BBI document is a vast improvement on the Constitution of 2010 and responds to the challenges that have come to fore in the last decade. We support it without reservation at this stage. we urge our people to come out and support it.
As Council of Governors, we met in Naivasha 2 days ago, and we looked at the document in detail. And I can assure you and assure Kenyans that Kenyans have more to benefit from this document. If this document goes through, it has taken care of all stakeholders in this country.
Former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, the host of the meeting, read mischief in some of the criticism directed at the report.
Because there are people who will always say no to whatever you want to propose. They're known. See, they're not raising those issues out of fundamental concerns or reasons. They're basically because of personal interests, you see.
In apparent jab at the Deputy President William Ruto and his brigade, Raila said the very people opposed the report had opposed the passage of the current constitution based on their reservation on various issues.
So we're saying that these naysayers will always be there. To them, you're saying let us meet in the field. Say yours and we'll say ours, and see whom the Kenyans are going to believe.
Achola Simon, reporting for Channel 1 Weekend from Kisumu County.
And still on the BBI debate, leaders allied to the Deputy President William Ruto now want the Building Bridges Initiative BBI debate postponed until the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic subsides. The leaders are questioning the urgency of the process, wondering and saying the exercise of collecting the signatures should be shelved until the COVID-19 reaches a manageable level in the country.
The MPs allied to the Deputy President were at Nairagie Enkare Catholic Church during a fundraiser where in unison they said that the monies set for referendum should be used to address the worrying coronavirus pandemic. They regretted that some were pushing for the referendum changes at the expense of healthcare workers who are being battered by the pandemic on a daily basis.
As Kenyans, we don't want to be burdened any further. We already have a burden by hard economic situation, by even the COVID. Hii story ya BBI kama ni hivi ibaki, wacha tupambane kwanza na hali hii. Ile pesa yote ambayo tuko katika Kenya, wacha tusaidie wa Kenya wapate matibabu.
Those guys need bonuses na protected clothing. That is what is urgent in this country. Si BBI. Na tunaomba turesti BBI yote, tufunge nchi, tuseme BBI itakuja after corona. Na sisi tutaagree, hatuna maneno mingi.
Ni kwa nini kwa wakati huu tusiweke priority ya health mbele? Hizo pesa ziwekwe kwa NHF ili kusudi wa Kenya wale walalahoi na wafanyakazi na wahudumu wote wa afya waweze kupata matibabu bila kosti yoyote.
They insisted there must be room for amendment for them to support the BBI.
Katiba si ya mtu mmoja ama wawili. Na ninaanza kusema hivi. Kina mama wa Kenya wakiambiwa wanyamaze, wafuate BBI wakiwa wamefunga macho, hiyo ni haramu.
Hapo hatupingi, hakuna mtu anapinga BBI, lakini tunasema tumalizie vizuri. Tusije kuingia kwa debe ambayo itatuletea mgawanyiko.
Sisi ile contest tunajua mashindano ni 2022. Na kama hii mtihani ya form 4 imebakisha wiki moja, kuna haja gani ya kufanya mocks? Si tunangojea tu mtihani upike. Sisi hatuna haja na mocks.
This as a section of leaders from Kiambu County who are attending a church service at St. Andrew Catholic Church at Rironi urged citizens not to be misled by leaders for any political gain and should read and understand the BBI report before they make their decisions.
Saa wengine wetu wanapenda kutumia watu vibaya. Ule inge mwera, listen, keep it, make your decision.
Hatuna haja kugawanya nchi ati hawa ni wa kusema yes na hawa ni wa kusema no. It is possible the 14 billion shillings tunapangia kutumia referendum tuitumie kulipia watu milioni 14 pesa ya NHIF mwaka moja.
They recommended that the national leaders to embrace the voice of the Catholic Church who are calling for a consensus on the document.
Bishops wa Catholic walizungumza. Wale wa bishop wa Kiprotestanti walizungumza. Na hakuna mwenye amekataa jambo la BBI. Wamesema tuzungumze tuweke Wakenya wote pamoja, tusiende njia ya mgawanyiko.
That is why we want to agree with Your Eminence and the Catholic bishops. Let us come together and reason together so that we build consensus. Tukikubaliana, sababu tunaweza kubaliana venye bishops wanatuuliza.
Sentiments echoed by the Anglican Bishop of Bungoma Diocese, Right Reverend Bishop George Mechumo, who said it was unfortunate that some leaders are ignoring murmurs from majority of Kenyans.
Sasa hizi BBI baada ya sisi kurekebisha ile 2010 constitution kupunguza maisha ya rais, sasa BBI imerudishia rais mamlaka yote.
Well, the civil society reference group has expressed its support for the BBI, however, with some reservations saying the gains can only be achieved if the 41 judges are appointed.
It is for these reasons that we urge Kenyans of goodwill not to squander this opportunity, as some seem to want us to do, and engage in soul-searching reflection of on the contemporary state of our affairs with the logic and sound reason that our current circumstances and national aspirations call for.
Suleiman Yeri, Channel 1 News.
And at about 20 minutes past the hour, we are taking our first break. But before that, I see Raymond Kahogu. You're asking, kwani za COVID haziko washikwe waliofuja, quite referring to the people who have misappropriated COVID-19 funds. Njue Mtali, you are watching from Naivasha. Aliwai Robert, you're watching from Kiambu. Alfred Kirui watching from Katet Factory. You're saying Nico tuned kama kawaida. Thank you so much for keeping it a Channel 1 and sports fan. I don't think we have something to smile about because as it stands, it's full time and Comoros Islands have won while Harambee Stars Comoros Islands have 2 while Harambee Stars has won. The match has ended 2-1 in favor of the Comoros Islands. Let's take that first quick short break, but when we come back we have more, including this in sports.
When the world changed, it made us go back to the simple joys and love the little things even more, like serving up your best, eating together, and sharing more. Now, we'll take nothing for granted and always remember to taste the simple joys. Coca-Cola, taste the simple joys.
Tonight on KBC Channel 1.
Only thing I want is to get out of here alive. Too late.
Emilio, help me! Help me! Gonzalo took Diego.
Where's that phone? Give it to me. Give it to me now.
Let go of me!
On the next episode of Ashoka.
You have just taken revenge from one enemy. After Chanakya, you must avenge Ashok as well.
Acharya Chanakya is dead. It wasn't an accident. It was a conspiracy.
Conspiracy?
Acharya was murdered.
Welcome back and thank you for keeping it Channel 1. Elsewhere, Yala Swamp within Nyanza region, described as a biological museum of East Africa with thousands of species of aquatic flora and fauna, is on the brink of ruin. The wetland and its satellite lakes is becoming a pale shadow of a once vibrant water body, with blame directed to uncontrolled human activity and the impact of climate change.
The wetland boasts 3 satellite lakes, Kanyaboli, Sare and Namboyo. Once dubbed its jewels due to their huge ecological roles, they play as home to a number of fish species, birds and wildlife and wetland plants. But the swamp is slowly bleeding to its death, thanks to uncontrolled human encroachment. The activities of companies like Dominion Farms, which has since stalled, are singled out for the sad state of affairs that has, for instance, seen Lake Kanyaboli, the largest oxbow lake in the region, face severe degradation.
We didn't know by that time what the importance of Yala Swamp at that time. But then we formed a group, tukaanza championing for the conservation.
The degradation and the human activities is on the rise, and also it's being fueled by the urge that we need to destroy wetlands.
They are burning the swamp. After burning is when they cultivate. So the degraded areas are big.
The wetland has a huge potential to generate revenue and safeguard the livelihoods of the local community.
We have the bird like the shoebill. Shoebill was found here, but it migrates to the Uganda part. Nowadays, Uganda, they are selling shoebill, only one bird for ornithologists. And international visitors are going in Uganda to only to see one bird, shoebill. And it was here.
There are rare species of animal, Statunga and the rest, that used to inhabit there, but they're no longer there now. The birds that used to also use that was at the nest, so that bird watching could be done in there. This Yala Swamp could be a very rich place also in tourism, ecotourism, but the counties and national government have not invested in it.
Worried by the ongoing situation, various conservation efforts are being put in place, and the Kenya Wildlife Services has stepped in to declare the lake a national reserve, which will see proper land use to curb wanton degradation.
In land use plan, there is a clarification for every sector. We have the specific place for conservation, and we have the specific place for private developer, and we also have the specific place for community, for cultivation. The gazetted area is 41.42 square kilometer. They gazette Lake Kanyaboli as a national reserve because they want community to be involved in conserving that aquatic antelope.
The government should come out clear and make sure that any activity that is happening in the swamp, within the swamp or within the catchment area, should follow the protocols.
It is a move towards ensuring that the local community appreciates the wetland as a resource and not a marshland to reclaim.
Elsewhere, parents of children with disabilities in Wajir County and its environs have been urged to give them equal opportunities as those accorded to their siblings. According to Abdi Rashid Aidan, an Assistant Director of Social Services at Wajir County Government, children with disability can grow up to be notable members of the society if given the opportunity to realize their potential.
40 years ago, Abdi Sharid Hassan was welcomed to the Wajir Catholic Mission Rehabilitation Center. The facility caters for children with disability. Years later, Eden is not only a family man, but is also an Assistant Director of Social Services at Wajir County Government.
Vile nililelewa na hii center
nimeona kwamba ni baraka kubwa sana kwa njia ya Mwenyezi Mungu, na wao wamenisaidia, na mimi nikipenda pia niwasaidie wale wengine wako na shida kama hawa, ili wasipitie shida nilikuwa nimepitia.
Hassan is encouraging parents of children with disability to take advantage of services offered at the center. The center's administrator, Sister Jennifer Mosima, observes some parents shy away from bringing their children to the facility due to stigma.
The ones that we've talked with, sometimes they do say that it's a kind of a curse. And maybe the parents has done something, and that's why she's given birth to a disabled child.
Wajir Catholic Mission Rehabilitation Center offers daily physiotherapy session for children with the cerebral palsy. For parents like Khadija Hassan, the services have greatly benefited Hassan Mohammed.
Nimeleta hapa mtoto. Anasaidia vizuri mtoto sasa iko sawa. Ana improve kidogo. Hata aleta watoto hapa. Leta hapa apate dawa yake mtoto vizuri.
The center has also partnered with Wajir County Referral Hospital to offer counseling and associated support to parents of children with a disability.
We are counseling them that this is not a curse and this is the powers of God. This is a nature. God has created these children in that form, and it is within his power to create anything in any form. So that is why we want to give this parent psychological support in assuring that this is not a curse.
However, currently the center, which serves Wajir, Garissa and Mandera counties, is facing financial constraints due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and the administrators are appealing to well-wishers as well as the national and county governments to come to their aid.
During this time of COVID-19, the greatest challenge that we've had so far is the drop in the funding agencies, because most of our well-wishers from outside Kenya, most of them succumbed to this COVID-19. And so we don't have funds. We have children who need corrective surgeries. We don't have money to take them to hospital.
Wycliffe Okech, Channel 1 News.
Let's now focus on security matters now, and a 14-year-old boy has been killed in Kapedo and 11 camels stolen just a day after leaders from the North Rift region held a meeting in the volatile region. The killing is seen as a mockery to efforts by the Regional Commissioner George Natembea to restore calm in the bandit-prone border area, both claimed by Baringo and Turkana counties. The conflict in Kapedo border, being claimed by both Baringo and Turkana counties, has made access to the area near impossible, with bandits roaming Chemolingot Kapedo Road and attacking at will.
Ile peke yake nitauliza bwana Natembea. Chukua bunduki. Ingia kwa Wapakot, chukua bunduki haramu. Ingia kwa Waturkana, chukua bunduki haramu. Chukua bunduki. Bunduki ndio imeua watu hapa zaidi.
Mwambie Rais Kenyatta asiende retire kabla hajaleta amani pande hii.
Wakati mmoja anaenda maji.
Just a day after Rift Valley Regional Commissioner George Natembea convened a security meeting to try and hammer out a peace deal between warring communities, a 14-year-old boy has been shot dead and 11 camels stolen.
Nitaanza introduction.
The latest incident is a mockery to the efforts by the leaders to seeking lasting solution to constant raids in the border. The leaders had vowed that their resolve to restore peace was unstoppable, as similar efforts were bearing fruits like the Kainuk and Takwel peace deals.
Viongozi wetu wamekubaliana pia nyinyi muende mfanye nini? Mfanye handshake. Hizi bunduki ni wananchi wenyewe wetu ambao wameregesha bunduki ule upande wa Turkana South, na bunduki katika region hii mzima, wala ambao wameregesha bunduki, ziko bunduki nyingi. Hatujatumia nguvu, hatujafika stage ya kutumia nguvu.
Kama wewe unafanyia kazi kaunti ya Turkana, ama unafanyia kazi kaunti ya Baringo, ama unafanyia West Pokot, tuje tufanyie hao watu kazi pamoja.
Tusahau mambo yale yamefanyika kwa upande zote, kwa Pokot na Waturkana, na hatutaki kukumbuka hayo tena. Wacha tu waanze sasa hivi tukiendelea mbele.
The leaders are pleading with communities in the area to give peace a chance for the sake of development.
Mimi nataka kuomba nyinyi tafadhali, ndugu zangu,
tunataka kwenda mbele pamoja. Tuache maneno ya hiyo ya fujo. Kuanzia leo muishi pamoja. Watoto waende shule. Hakuna shule ya Pokot. Hakuna shule ya Turkana.
Let's shift focus to news making headlines in counties where the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission has conducted peaceful and undisputed elections for Kitengela Juakali artisans after 7 years of wrangles that have denied the lucrative sector funding from the national government. Meanwhile, residents of Juja Farm Village, Kiambu County, are celebrating the completion of a bridge linking the vast area to the neighboring Theta ward. This and more in our county news roundup.
The Kitengela Juakali, which has 234 registered members eligible for voting, had 3 factions of leadership that resulted in numerous disputes. But with the intervention of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, the artisans are expressing optimism in the outcome of the elections after 7 years of lack of substantive leadership, which has denied the lucrative sector funding from the national government.
Uchaguzi wa leo naona iko sawa, imepangwa kwa njia inafaa. Naona kutakuwa na ulagai yoyote. Bwana Nyoro, Bwana Chief, watu wa IBC na wale wenzetu wanahusika na hii uchaguzi wameorganize kwa njia inayofaa.
Meanwhile, residents of Juja Farm Village in Kiambu County are a happy lot after a well-wisher constructed a bridge linking the area to neighboring regions.
Umekuja msamaria mwema anaitwa JM, ametuundia daraja hata watoto wetu wanaweza kwenda shule.
Elsewhere, Isiolo North Member of Parliament Hassan Odha has raised concerns over what he describes as the pathetic state of Isiolo County Police Headquarters and the officers' residential houses.
Kila mjengo ambayo unaona hapa, na hapa ndio county headquarters ya polisi hapa Isiolo County, imejengwa na wakoloni.
In Nakuru, Governor Njue has urged residents to adhere to the conditions set by the Ministry of Health aimed at combating the spread of the coronavirus.
Maagizo ambayo serikali imetupatia ikiwa ya kuweka barakoa, ya kuosha mikono, kuzingatia distance, social distance ambayo tunasema tungewaomba zote tuweze kuifikia.
And Kenyans are being urged to be extra careful on the roads as accidents involving people living with disabilities are on the rise.
In terms of road accidents, I think the government should strict on rules and policies around traffic.
Mimi ningeambia watu wa pikipiki, tafadhali, hata yeye akiwa kwa barabara akuwe mwangalifu. La pili, tutii sheria za barabara.
Wycliffe Okech, Channel 1 News.
Further afield, Professor Ugal Sahin, co-founder of BioNTech, says the impact of the new COVID-19 vaccine will kick in significantly over summer and life should be back to normal by next winter. Last week, BioNTech and co-developers Pfizer said preliminary analysis showed their vaccine could prevent more than 90% of people from getting COVID-19, with about 43,000 people taking part in the test. The United Kingdom is expected to get 10 million doses by the end of the year, with a further 30 million doses already ordered. The vaccine is given in 2 doses, 3 weeks apart.
The vaccine has given a boost of confidence that an end to the pandemic is close, with the leading scientists behind it saying they are hopeful life could return to normal by next winter. But there are some big uncertainties. The vaccine needs approval from regulators, and they will only grant that if they are happy that the jab is safe and works well. Early results look very good, but scientists say they await the full ones in the coming weeks. There is also no data yet to show how well the jab works, and those who need it the most are the elderly. Nor do we know if it stops people from spreading the disease as well as getting sick. And it's also not clear how long the immunity might last. In Ethiopia, the president of Tigray region says his forces fired rockets at Eritrea's airport last night. He has accused the Ethiopian National Forces of using the airport to launch attacks on Tigray. Ethiopia's federal government has not yet commented on the accusation. But the attack is seen as a major escalation in the 12-day conflict between the Ethiopian government and the governing party in Tigray. Fighting over Tigray has also affected Sudan, with at least 17,000 civilians crossing the border from Ethiopia, according to the United Nations. Meanwhile, voters in Moldova are going to the polls Sunday for a second time this month to cast their ballot for president. The runoff election comes after challenger Maya Sandu failed to win a majority of votes to unseat current leader Igor Dodon 2 weeks ago. Sandu, a former World Bank economist, has closer ties with Europe. President Igor, meanwhile, is openly backed by Russia. Voting is ongoing in more than 2,000 polling stations, including for Moldovans living abroad, according to the Central Election Commission. Moldova is one of Europe's poorest nations and has suffered a sharp economic downturn during the coronavirus pandemic. Elsewhere, 15 countries have formed the world's largest trading bloc, covering nearly a third of the global economy. The Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership is made up of 10 Southeast Asian countries, as well as South Korea, China, Japan, Australia, and New Zealand. The pact is seen as an extension of China's influence in the region. The deal was to involve 12 countries and was supported by Trump's predecessor Barack Obama as a way to counter China's surging power in the region. The deal has finally been signed Sunday on the sidelines of a virtual summit hosted by Vietnam. Finally, legendary Indian actor Sumitra Chatterjee, famed for his work with Oscar-winning director Ray, has died from coronavirus complications. The 85-year-old actor was admitted to hospital in Kolkata city on 6 October after he tested positive for the virus. He has been in the acting industry for 6 decades and featured in Bengali language films. Chatterjee, who starred in more than 300 movies, was also an accomplished playwright, theatre actor, and a poet. Ruth Wamboi, reporting for Channel 1 Weekend.
KBC, in collaboration with the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development, is broadcasting enhanced out-of-class learning on radio, television, and online. Catch the lessons every weekday on KBC Channel 1 from 2 to 4 p.m. on KBC English Service and 15 FM from 9:15 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Radio Taifa from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. KBC English Service, Radio Taifa, and 15 FM are also available countrywide on the free-to-air Signet digital TV platform, or log on to www.kbc.co.ke for live streaming, or download the KBC Online app on Google Play Store. Kenya Broadcasting Corporation, ensuring learning no matter what.
On the next episode of Corner.
How am I supposed to break this news?
There's no easy way to deal with this one.
Hakujai kuwa na hii family.
Anza kufikiria jibu ambalo utampa.
If the man is dying of guilt, then we should help him do just that.
Wacha, usiseme kazi, usiseme. Usiseme.
It's empty.
First, you tell me where my father is. If I find him, you get the contents of that envelope.
Can I help you? Well, hello there.
Do I know you?
Next on.
Isa is going to kill me.
Oh my God. Tomorrow I'll see you at 10 at Las Obsidiana.
Listen, Francisco has threatened to have Fabiola arrested and throw her in prison.
But why?
That's her, officer. Arrest her.
Your mother seems to have regained her memory.
That's right. I remember now. Even the reason why I ended up in the hospital, it was because of the two of you.
El paraíso
In Love with Ramon.
Gear up and maintain a healthy, fit and active lifestyle right there at home by keeping up with Gear Up on Channel 1, 5:30 to 6 a.m. Monday to Saturday. Gear Up every day for every moment, and remember to stay home and keep safe.
And on sports news, we begin on a disappointing note where Harambee Stars squandered a chance to go on top of Group G in the ongoing Africa Cup of Nations AFCON qualifiers after losing 2-1 to Comoros in their return leg match that was played this evening in Moroni. The Stars remain in third position on the log and will play against Togo in March of next year.
Ahmed Mogni anawekewa tena kwenye kisigino. Ahmed Mogni anajaza
yule tulomzungumzia Al-Farouk bin Muhammad, msikilizaji, yule tuliyemzungumzia Al-Farouk bin Muhammad. Na unaposikia kelele hizo ni kwamba kama tulivyosema uwanja umejaa. Mashabiki wa Komoro wananyanyuliwa hapa. Dakika 21. Al-Farouk bin Muhammad, mchezaji ambaye ni mzuri kabisa, chezea klabu ya Red Star Belgrade. Al-Farouk bin Muhammad anaweka wenyeji Komoro kifua mbele. Komoro 1, Kenya 0. Kisha kuja Kenya kule hatari katika lango la Komoro kule. Msikilizaji, dakika 35 ya mchezo. Dakika 35 ya mchezo. Dakika 35 ya mchezo. Anaweka kimiani. Isinyekea. Weka kimiani baada ya madefendo wa Komoro kujizuia, kuchanganyikiwa. Kenya goli moja.
Hatari, hatari goli.
Dakika ya 50 msikilizaji. Dakika ya 50. Waliotoka Folofolo wananyanyuka. Waliotoka Nzoia wananyanyuka. Waliotoka Mayoti wananyanyuka. Waliotoka.
Of course, our boys have an uphill task, remembering that they still have the Egyptians, Pharaohs, to play next year, hoping the best. Moving on, this year's Africa Hockey Club Championship that was set to begin or to be held in Malawi starting 30th of this month has been postponed to next year by the Africa Confederation due to the widespread outbreak of the coronavirus. Meanwhile, Wazalendo men's team that will feature in the event has today received financial boost from Conchella Company in preparation for the championship.
The ongoing widespread of COVID-19 all over the world has continued to affect many sporting activities. The planned Africa Hockey Club Championship, which was set to be held in Malawi this month, has now been postponed. Wazalendo men's hockey team will be making a debut in the Africa Club Championship after securing a ticket, having finished in the second position behind defending champions Butali Warriors in the Premier League last season. Due to their financial constraints, the club launched the M-Changa platform to raise funds towards the tournament. The club received 100,000 shillings check from Conchella Company.
We came up with a budget of 7 million. 7 million is actually 7 times more than the budget we normally use for our running our local league. 7 times is too huge for our club, because most of our players are either high school or universities.
We are more gelling as a team, and with the group training, it is actually helping us to play more and to gel as a team, because that's what we need right now.
It is difficult. There's no doubt about that. It is difficult, but what they can do is they can actually start training in small groups. That one is allowed. They can do individual fitness. And
Kenyan clubs pulled out of the 2019 tournament held in Ismailia, Egypt, due to financial constraints. Other teams that qualify for the tournament include Butali Warriors, Blazers and Spartans. Frederick Mwoki for Channel 1 Sports.
And on that hockey note, we wrap up Channel 1 Weekend. Thank you so much for joining me, and of course for watching, whether you're watching on YouTube, on Facebook, or from our very beautiful KBC app. Thank you so much. Byron Abuli has been our sign language interpreter for this evening, and everyone who has made this broadcast a success, I say it's thank you. My name is Ben Troy Njue. Do have yourself a blessed evening and a blessed week ahead. Good night.
Good evening and a very warm welcome to Channel 1 Weather Updates. My name is Irene Mchuma Odem. The capital is currently experiencing showers over several places, and these are weather patterns that are also affecting counties around the region. The Lake Basin region and western parts of the country are currently experiencing showers accompanied by thunderstorms over several places. This as the northern parts of the country and southeastern lowlands are currently experiencing scattered wet conditions, and the only region that is tonight experiencing dry weather conditions is the coastal strip, where residents have been covered with partly cloudy conditions. Tomorrow it will be sunny across the country. It will rain in a few areas in Meru and Nyeri. It will also rain in Kakamega and Kisii. The coastal strip will experience wet conditions over a few places, and these will be light showers in Lamu, Mombasa, and Malindi. A few areas in Machakos will experience rains during the morning hours. The northern parts will mainly experience sunny intervals. Also, the Lake Basin region will largely experience sunny intervals. In the afternoon, we'll see an increase of wet conditions across the country. The Lake Basin region and western sector will be characterized with showers accompanied by thunderstorms, though this will affect a few areas in Kakamega, Kisii, Kitale, Eldoret, Bungoma. The northern parts of the country will mainly experience sunny intervals, but there will be rains over a few places in Samburu. The coastal strip will continue to experience scattered wet conditions, though these will be limited to a few areas in Machakos, Nairobi, and Meru. Let's be prepared for showers during the afternoon hours. Now, let's cross over to temperatures, and this is it. Mandera will experience highs of 34 degrees Celsius. The capital will experience highs of 23 degrees Celsius. And for you in Lodwar, that is where we'll experience the highest temperatures across the country at 35 degrees Celsius. And on that note, we now cross the borders to have a look at the international forecast. Do have a good night and a blessed week ahead.
Vera Beauty College.
Vera Beauty and Fashion College, with branches in Nairobi, Eldoret, Thika, and Meru. Did you know that we are a TVET-approved institution? We offer courses in fashion design, interior design in soft furnishing, event decoration, flower arrangement, event planning, hairdressing, barbering and dreadlocks, beauty therapy, makeup, nail technology, spa massages, teaching skills, TOT, solo business management, and many more. Register now and visit our website on www.verabeautycollege.com. You can also call on 0725 923 550 Nairobi branch, 0728 087 689 Eldoret branch, 0722 227428 Thika branch, 0725 000 706 Meru branch. Vera Beauty and Fashion College, a TVET approved institution.
Ini last botamak kwa kalenda ya mamasta majima bazenga.
She's so expensive, okay.
Niweke kwa inamba buda boss tuma kitu na tumepia na ya kutoa.
Time already, it's time already. Line already, it's time already.
Make I tell you waiting up for a bullet. Baby, come and use your body, body, yeah,
back it up right away, yeah, right away, right away.
Gang rada chafu nikishikaga hizo chafu bana shika shash pale bedroom kila siku bash hii ni lichi ndakikomba.
Mtazamaji mpendwa, na kusalimia tena kwa upendo wa Yesu Kristo. Majina yangu ni Reverend Sarah Konje, nikitoka katika kanisa la Ruiru Christian Center ambao liko pale Ruiru, ni Church of God under